Krishna, dear devotees, a very warm welcome back again to our ongoing series on the glories of our beloved Sri Vrindavan Dham. First, we offer our prayers to that person who is revealing the Dham to all of us, Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, in our last few lectures, we spoke about 3 of the 8 Astasakis, namely Lalita, Vishaka, and Chitradevi, all of whom are personal attendants of Srimati Radharani. We hadn't really planned it in that way because we spoke about the Astasakis last year. But as we mentioned in our last talk, with our ongoing research in the prestigious Vrindavan Research Institute, more and more information and pastimes have become available. And we should take advantage of them. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport to Bhagavad Gita 17:15, and I quote, "The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from spiritual authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society." Then Prabhupada concludes, "There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this." He writes, a limitless stock of Vedic literature, which should be studied. And in his introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, he's even more specific about taking advantage of this literature and its authors. He writes, quote, "Many devotees of Lord Chaitanya, like Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Lochan Das Thakur, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Kavikarnapura, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, Sri Rupa Goswami," and then he writes, "and many other great and renowned scholars and devotees of the Lord have prepared many books and literatures on the life and precepts of the Lord. They are unique in composition and unrivaled in presentation, and they're full of transcendental knowledge." Many other great and renowned scholars and devotees of the Lord. So with our access now to the Vrindavan Research Institute, which has 32,000 ancient scriptures, many of these literatures, which Srila Prabhupada is referring to, especially in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, are now available. And more will come in the future as well. The other day in the Institute, I was studying the Shastra Bhaktamal by Nabha Das. We quoted several times in the last few months, which was authorized by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We came across a book called Mani Harin Leela by Priyadas. It was nearby on the shelf by the Bhaktamal by Nabhadas. There was the Mani Harin Leela by Priyadas. And I discovered that Priyadas was Nabhadas's grandson. So I started looking through that scripture as well. And therein, I found a very beautiful pastime of Campakalata Sakhi, which has been passed down through disciplic succession for a long time down to the present day, this pastime of her and Sri Vrindavan Dham. Now, we'll tell you that pastime, but I think first a brief reminder of just who is Campakalata, so we can better appreciate the pastime. Now, as we mentioned, she's one of the 8 Astasakis who have dedicated their life and souls primarily to the service of Srimati Radharani. It's common amongst the gopis of Vrindavan that some display more love for Radha than they do Krishna. while others show more love for Krishna than for Sri Radha. But our acharyas say that it's to be understood that in the hearts of all these gopis, they have equal love for both Radha and Krishna. Campakalata's qualities are often compared to Vishaka, whom we discussed last week. Unlike Vishaka, however, who's very bold and very upfront in her dealings, Campakalata is described as extremely secretive about her activities. And the acharyas also say that she's known to be very, very clever. For example, when rival gopis like Chandravali try to lure Krishna away from Radha, Campakalata knows how to thwart their plans, the acharyas say, by, quote, skillful diplomacy and logical persuasion. Skillful diplomacy and logical persuasion. And it's said that Campakalata is 2 days younger than Srimati Radharani. She has a complexion like a cluster of yellow champaka flowers. She dresses herself in clothes the color of a chataka bird. And she's a master of cooking in all 6 culinary rasas. You could say like the tastes, but it's very poetic. She's a master of cooking in all 6 culinary rasas, which means astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour, and salty. However, her specialty, you may remember from last year, her specialty is making candy, which has earned her the nickname Mistahasta, which means sweet hands. Sweet hands, that's her nickname, sweet hands. Campakalata is famous for serving the divine couple by offering them necklaces, beautiful necklaces, which she makes, and by fanning them very expertly with the chamara fan. She's also well known as the leader of the gopis who care for the trees, the creepers, and the bushes of Braj. And our shastras say that as such, she knows where every kind of fruit, flower, and root can be found in Vrindavan's forests. As a result of that knowledge, she's expert in decorating Vrindavan's beautiful groves and pathways with all these natural ingredients of Vrindavan's forests. And like other Sakhis, she has her own particular kunj or grove. It's called Kamalata, which is situated on the northern bank of Radhakund. And I was reading that in that grove, everything is the color of molten gold. Just try to imagine, everything's the color of molten gold. And that is actually where Campakalata has her kitchen, where she prepares all those delicious foodstuffs, all the 6 culinary rasas for Radha and Krishna. Now in that kitchen, Campakalata also teaches other gopis how to cook. And the acharyas say that when her students become accomplished in that cooking, they host Radha and Krishna with midday feasts that rival the taste of nectar. Midday feasts that rival the taste of nectar. Now it's written that in all of Campakalata's many services, she has 8 girlfriends, very close girlfriends who help her. Namely Padma Nayana, Sunetra, Kama Dipika, Navanita Priya, Pradipika, Sukarni, Raga Samyukta, Venika, and Shukeshi. Just to say those names, you can feel your heart becoming purified. Now in Chaitanya Leela, Campakalata descends as Raghava Goswami. And during Mahaprabhu's advent, Raghava Goswami resided at Govardhan Hill in a cave called Manikundala. And he wrote a book entitled Bhakti Ratna Prakasha. Bhakti Ratna Prakasha. And it's described in Bhakti Ratnakara elaborately how he took Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya on Parikrama of Vrindavan. Now, this Raghava Goswami is sometimes mistaken for Raghava Pandit, who is a resident of Panihati in Bengal and is Dinishta Gopi in Krishna's pastimes. Two Raghavas. So anyway, for our main pastime today from the scripture I quoted earlier, for your pleasure, one time Srimati Radharani sent Campakalata to collect water from the Jamuna for worshipping the sun god. We all know that as Surya Puja. So when Campakalata was approaching the Jamuna River with two big water pots, she noticed that Krishna was playing there along with his eternal companion, his intimate friend, funny Madhu Mangal. And curious, Campakalata stopped behind a tree to listen to their conversation. As Krishna said to Madhu Mangal, quote, "My dear Madhu, look, how pleasant the weather is today. Let us play some games. You give me your ball and we'll play catch with it." But Madhu Mangal said, "I will not give you my ball, Krishna, because I'm afraid of losing it. I know how tricky your ways are. I know how tricky you can be. I might lose my ball." Now, Sri Rupa Goswami sometimes refers to Madhu Mangal in his writings as Vidushak. Vidushak literally means someone who's humorous, is a companion, and a jester or a joker. And Krishna and Madhu Mangal are so close that Madhu Mangal knows all of Krishna's tricks as well. So Madhu Mangal said to Krishna, "The other day I saw you throw Sridam's ball into the Jamuna and it was swept away by the river's current. My ball is very rare and I don't want to lose it." So then Krishna asked, Campakalata is listening to all this. Krishna asked, "Oh, Madhu, from where does your ball come from?" So funny Madhu Mangal, he replied, "My ball? It's from my uncles, sisters, brothers, aunties, grandmothers, elder, son-in-laws, ancestral village. That's where." So that caused Krishna to laugh. What an answer. And Krishna said, "You're so funny, Madhu, but I promise you I will not throw your ball in the Jamuna." So Madhu Mangal said, "Krishna, I know your promises have no meaning." Then Krishna said with a smile, "Madhu, if I happen to throw your ball in the Jamuna, then I will give you my own ball, which is now at my home." So Madhu Mangal finally relented and he said, "Okay, Krishna, you are so sweet. No one can ever say no to you. You are so sweet, no one can ever say no to you. So let's play. But first, let's set the rules down for our game. And the rules are that if you fail to catch the ball when I throw it, you will become my play horse, and I will ride you all around as you crawl on your knees. And if you lose, then I will do the same for you. That's called horsey. So Krishna agreed to the rules. He said, "Okay, let's play." But it's written that just after a few minutes of playing, Krishna dropped the ball and lost the game and had to crawl around with Madhu on his back, horsey. The sweet, intimate, loving dealings that God has with his devotees in Sri Vrindavan Dham. There's no odd reverence there, just sweet, loving exchanges. Now it's written that when the devatas from Svargaloka saw this, they were stunned. They were shocked to see that their Lord, the Lord of the 14 worlds, became a playhorse for his beloved devotee, Madhu Mangal. They couldn't understand. Now, as Campakalata was witnessing this Leela from some distance away, she decided to have a little fun by teasing Krishna and Madhu Mangal. So she called out, "Oh, Madan Mohan, please help me. Oh, Madan Mohan, please help me." So Krishna said to Madhu Mangal, "Madhu, I think someone's calling me." But funny Madhu Mangal said, "No, Krishna, someone's calling me. You are not Madan Mohan." Because Madan Mohan means one who attracts everyone's hearts. And I am that Madan Mohan because I attract everyone's hearts with my funny jokes. So many playful cowherd boy pastimes. So then, witnessing all this, Campakalata, she called out again, "Oh, Nandalal, please help me. Hey, Nandalal, please help me." So Krishna turned to Madhu Mangal and he said, "You see, Madhu, someone's calling me, not you, because I am the son of Nanda, not you." So Madhu Mangal, he said, "Be careful, my friend. There are many ghosts living on the banks of the Jamuna, and they may be calling out like that." So then they decided to go and find out, where this voice was coming from. So looking around, the forest there, down by the banks of the Jamuna, etc. And after some time, they actually came upon Campakalata, who was filling her water pots on the banks of the Jamuna river. So when Campakalata saw Krishna and Madhu Mangal coming, she said, "Dear Krishna, please help me to lift this heavy-filled water pot onto my head." But Krishna, now teasing her, he said, "I will not help you, for I am the son of Maharaj Nanda. My mother does not allow me to lift water pots onto the servants of other kings." So Campakalata said, "Krishna, you are so proud." So turning to Madhu Mangal, she said, "Lala, Lala, can you help me?" But Madhu Mangal became very angry and he said, "Sakhi, how dare you call me Lala? Lala means a son in Brajbasa. Don't you know my name? My name is Shri Shri 108, His Highness, Lord of the demigods, Master of all arts, singer of all Vedic mantras, knower of all Vedic meters and hymns, the only son of Sandipani Muni, and the crown jewel of all Brahmanas and knowers of the Vedas. How dare you call me Lala?" So Campakalata, she laughed and she said, "Silly Madhu, you're just a boy, just beginning your studies in the sciences you claim to know. I will go now and tell Vrindavan's queen, Shri Radha, of you and Krishna's disrespectful ways. You wouldn't help me with the water pots." She was a little upset, actually. So after managing to place the water pots on her head, Campakalata went to Suryakund and delivered the water for Shri Radha's worship of the sun god, Surya Puja. And as she and Radharani walked back to Barshana, where Radha lives, Campakalata told Radha everything that had transpired by the Jamuna. And after hearing Campakalata's story, Shri Radha made a proclamation to all her maidservants back at Varshana that she would not be seeing Krishna anymore. He's so rude. She said that they should not make any more special rendezvous for her with him from that day forth. We've heard that before. So this news, as it spread around Vrindavan, it had very little effect on Krishna. You can't go see Radha. He's very determined to spend time with his eternal consort, Sri Radha. But he had to appease her again because of her man, her anger. So, a few hours later, Krishna, once again, disguised himself as a beautiful gopi, this time a gopi selling colorful bangles for the wrists and the arms. And he appeared at the gates of the palace at Varshana, and he set up a shop. And he called out to all the gopis in the vicinity in a very beautiful feminine voice, as he looked very beautiful in his gopi dress and very beautiful bangles. He called out for all the girls to come forward and see his or her products. So at that point, Campakalata just happened to pass by, and she noticed this bangle selling gopi. And there was something about that gopi that she found very attractive. Very, very attractive. And the bangles were also very attractive. They were described like glowing like the sun in a variety of different colors. So she said to that gopi, "Dear girl, you must be new in this area. I've not seen you before." So Krishna, disguised, replied in a very beautiful feminine voice, "Dear friend, I am from a very poor family, and I have 2 sons who are waiting for me to return with some money. I sell the most beautiful bangles of different colors, inlaid with beautiful stones. I also have very rare mirror bangles, which can reveal the beauty of any beautiful Brajagopi like you. Do you know anyone in particular who might like to see my bangles?" So Campakalata replied, "Oh, dear bangle seller, you are so beautiful. It is difficult to take my eyes off of you. Your beauty is stealing my glances. Your illustrious body attracts my heart. But do not worry. Our Queen of Compassion, Radharani, our Queen of Compassion will buy all of your bangles, and she will give you much more than your bangles cost. She is, after all, the daughter of the king Vrishabhanu." So Campakalata took that young gopi with all of her bangles to Sri Radha's quarters, where Radha sat as effulgent as the sun, surrounded by all her maidservants. And one by one, those gopis, seeing all those beautiful bangles, they came forward to observe them. They were looking. But after some time, Sri Radha herself called for the bangle seller to come forward to show her wares to her. But mesmerized by Sri Radha's incomparable beauty, this young gopi selling bangles, just being mesmerized by Srimati Radharani, she moved very slowly towards Vrindavan's queen. And when she finally came forward, very close to Sri Radha said, "Dear one, you may place one of your bangles on my wrist." But when Krishna, disguised as the bangle seller, took the hand of Sri Radha to put a bangle on her hand, he started trembling and fell down unconscious on the ground, calling out, "Radhe, Radhe, Radhe." So seeing this, all the young gopis present, they became very distraught as they rushed forward to help this young girl. When suddenly Campakalata noticed a flute, of all things, a flute tucked inside the young bangle selling girl's skirt. So she called out loudly, "This is not a gopi selling bangles. This is Nanda Maharaja's clever son, who's once again tricked us with his disguise and made his way into Sri Radha's quarters undetected by all of us." So of course, all the gopis expressed their dissatisfaction with Krishna's tricks, but it's described internally in their hearts. They were overjoyed. Why? Because the whole purpose of their lives is to unite Radha and Krishna, despite so many obstacles placed before them. And as Krishna came back to external consciousness, those gopis showed their so-called displeasure with him, but then very quickly burst out in cries of, "Well done, Krishna! Bravo! Well done, Krishna! Bravo!" As Krishna embraced Sri Radha, and Radha happily laughed, but because of her shyness, it's described she closed her eyes. Then all the Sakhis came forward to perform artik for Radha and Krishna. As Campakalata concluded, she said out loud, "May Radha and Krishna always be united with the ropes of each other's love." Hare Krishna. Another wonderful pastime. So let us conclude today with Srila Rupa Goswami's opening verse to his illustrious Shri Vidagdha Madhava. Vidagdha Madhava. Quote, "May the pastimes of Sri Krishna reduce the miseries existing in the material world and nullify all unwanted desires. The pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like shikarini, a blend of yogurt and sugar candy. They overpower the pride of even the nectar produced on the moon, for they distribute the sweet fragrance of the concentrated loving affairs of Srimati Radharani and the gopis." Unquote. Thank you, Sri Rupa Goswami. We'll finish there, and we'll go back to the institutes and do some more research for all of you so we can all relish this wonderful nectar of Bhajakatha. Thank all of you again. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radharani ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Maya Pradam ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagya ki, and Shri Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Sri Sri Radhe.